Hey there, English learners. Welcome to ML's English Podcast, where grammar gets easier, clearer, and a lot more fun. Today, we're tackling some of those tricky but really common English adjectives. We're going to break them all down, simplify them, and make sure you leave with confidence. So, grab your notebook, stay focused, and let's dive right in.
So, have you ever found yourself pausing, thinking, should I use some or any here? And what is the real deal with little versus few? If you've ever asked these questions, you're definitely not alone. These words trip up so many learners, but trust me, we are about to make them crystal clear for you.
Yep, that's our mission today. We're going to turn these kind of confusing words into super simple, clear rules that you can start using right away. So, let's get started with the first pair. Okay, first up, some versus any. The main thing to remember here, the core difference, is all about whether you're talking in a positive or a negative way.
Here it is, the basic rule. Just think of some for positive stuff when you're saying something exists, when it's a yes, like I have some coffee. But you'll use any for the negatives or for most questions, when you don't have something, or you're asking if it even exists at all, like I don't have any coffee. Simple, right?
Here's a perfect example of a positive sentence. I will buy some mangoes. It's an affirmation. You're confirming you're going to do it. It's straightforward and positive, so we use some.
But now, look what happens when we just add that one little word, not. The sentence becomes negative, and boom, we have to switch to any. I will not buy any mangoes. That's the basic rule playing out perfectly. But English, it loves its exceptions. So here's the first one. You actually can use some in a question, but it's for very specific situations. When you're making an offer or a request, and you're pretty sure the person is going to say yes. For instance, if you say, "Will you have some ice cream?" You're not just asking a question, you're making a friendly offer. It sounds so much warmer and more inviting than saying, "Do you want any ice cream?" which can sound a bit, cold.
And there's an exception for any, too. It can totally pop up in a positive-looking sentence. But you've got to look for the secret password, the trigger word, if.
See? If you need any money, I will help you. That if introduces a condition, a possibility, a bit of uncertainty, and that's the perfect environment for any to thrive. All right, let's shift gears to our next tricky pair. Each versus every. Now, this one isn't about positive or negative. It's all about your point of view. Are you zooming in on the individual, or are you panning out to see the whole group? It really is this simple. You use each when you're thinking about the members of a group one by one, individually. You use every when you're thinking of all the members of that group together, as a single unit, a total. For example, 5 boys were seated on each bench. The word each makes us picture the benches separately. We see the first bench, then the second bench, then the third. We're looking at them individually. Now, contrast that with every seat was taken. Here, every gives you that big picture view. You're not thinking about seat 1A, then seat 1B. Nope, you're getting the total impression. The whole place was packed. Not a single empty seat anywhere.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about little and few. This one is so fascinating because it's not just about grammar, it's about psychology. It's about the feeling, the positive or negative mindset that you want to communicate.
Just look at this table, especially that mindset column. When you use little or few all by themselves, you're being negative. You're saying there's a lack of something, that there's hardly any. But, and this is the magic part, just by adding the tiny article a in front, the whole meaning flips to positive. A little or a few suddenly means some. It's a small change with a huge impact on the feeling of your sentence. So this model kind of shows you the journey. You start with that negative feeling of little or few, then you add an a to make it positive and hopeful. And then you can add the to get really specific, to talk about a small amount, but all of that amount. Let's see it in action. So if a doctor says there is little hope of his recovery, wow. That feels heavy, right? The meaning is pessimistic. It means there's almost zero hope. It's a very negative outlook. But listen to what happens when we just add that a. There is a little hope of his recovery. See, the whole feeling changes. It's like a little ray of sunshine. Suddenly, it's a positive statement. It means there is some hope. There is a possibility, all from one tiny letter. And finally, the few, or the little. You use this when you're talking about a small quantity, but, and this is the key part, you mean all of it. So in this sentence, maybe he only said 2 or 3 things, but all of those remarks, every single one, was suggestive. Awesome work. We've just sharpened some really powerful tools for your English toolkit. Let's do a super quick recap of the main takeaways so they really stick. Okay, here we go. Some is your go-to for positive statements, offers, and requests. Any is for negatives, questions, and sentences with if. Each zooms in on the individual, while every pans out to the total group. And for your mindset, little and few feel negative, like not enough. But a little and a few feel positive, like, hey, we've got some.
So my question for you is, which of these rules are you going to try out today? Finding a way to actively use them is the absolute best way to make them a natural part of your English. Thanks for tuning in to ML's English Podcast. I hope today's lesson helped you take one more step toward mastering English. Thumbs up. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a new episode. Notes. Have questions or grammar topics you'd like to learn next? Drop a comment below. I'm always listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and stay confident. See you soon.